My name is Nancy. Currently, I am a mother of one at the age of 38. My daughter, Kate, will be a middle school student this year. My husband, Tom, is 2 years older than me and turned 40 this year. Tom and I both work, and I earn more than him. As a result, Tom often came home before me, but at the beginning of our marriage, he refused to do any housework. Housework is a woman's job. That's what my mom used to say, he proudly claimed. Tom and I got married when I was 23. We met through a college friend, continued our relationship into our professional lives. And he proposed to me. I happily accepted his proposal. I thought our sweet newlywed life would begin, but every day, tired from work, housework awaited me. He wouldn't even put his own clothes in the washing machine. Seeing his clothes on the floor, I felt very tired. After finishing his meal, he would start watching TV, leaving his dishes on the table. He thinks I will pick up everything, his clothes and his dishes. This kind of life continued for 6 months after we got married. Then, I was well treated by my seniors at work, recognized for my abilities, and entrusted with a big project. Of course, I told Tom that I would be busier because of the project. He was happy for me, saying, "That's amazing to be trusted with such a task." But it didn't seem to make him want to do the housework. When I had to work overtime for a big project, he would message me, "Isn't my dinner ready? I'm still at work, so how can I prepare dinner?" I replied. To which he responded with a ridiculous message. "Can't you, as a housewife, prepare dinner in the morning or something?" I got irritated and ignored the message, focusing on my work. While I was working overtime, Tom sent me multiple messages. "Where's my dinner? If it's not ready, I'm going out to eat." Reply to me. I thought an adult male should be able to prepare his own meal. But it seems he doesn't think that way. When I finished overtime and returned home, he was not there. I made myself a simple stir-fry and had a late dinner. Then, Tom came home, reeking of alcohol. Seeing me eating dinner, he frowned. "You didn't make dinner for me, but you made some for yourself? Were you trying to spite me? I told you, didn't I? I was entrusted with a big project. So I'll be working overtime and will be busier than before. So why did you think your meal would be ready when you came home before me? As an adult male, you should be able to prepare your own food. But, you're the housewife." Housewife? What's that? Are you saying that because I'm a woman? You expect me to do all the housework and work too? Do you want to work me to death from overwork? But my mother. Your mother was a full-time housewife. She didn't work, so she could dedicate herself to the household. What about me? You're home longer than I am. So why should I be the only one doing the housework? Tom was at a loss for words. He tried to say something, but the only pathetic words that came out were, "but." I couldn't help but sigh in disbelief. Did you marry me to have a second mother? If you want someone to do all the laundry, meals, and cleaning, why don't you hire a maid? I won't do everything for you anymore. At my words, Tom turned pale. He must have been afraid of being abandoned by me at that moment. Back then, Tom must have still loved me. Perhaps thinking of trying his best at household chores for me. From then on, when I was late from work or Tom got home first, he started making dinner. At first, the meals weren't very good, but gradually Tom got used to cooking. And we could enjoy reasonably delicious meals. I was happy to see Tom changing. I completed a major project, got promoted, and then got pregnant. Together with Tom, we named our daughter Kate and worked hard to take care of her, wanting to return to work soon for our child's sake and earn money. I left Kate in the care of my mother or my mother-in-law. Tom said, "I'm a bit scared of my boss, so it seems hard to take paternity leave." So, I couldn't rely on him. My mother, who had been a career woman herself, supported both me and Tom in our work. However, my mother-in-law looked at me as if I was something unpleasant. On the day I asked her to look after the child, when I got home, she said, "Oh, you're working until this time? Tom comes home earlier than you and prepares the meals. You must be working overtime because you're not doing well." I got promoted and my workload increased, not because I was failing and needed to work overtime. But no matter how many times I explained, my mother-in-law couldn't accept the reality that I was more successful than Tom. "Stop lying," she said. "The world is made for men to be better at work. A woman's job is to take care of the home. And you can't even do that. What value do you have? And to think, you didn't even have a boy, but a girl." She sighed, looking at Kate. I felt our adorable daughter was being denied just because she was a girl. After that, I no longer asked my mother-in-law to take care of my daughter. That was when it happened. My father passed away. My father, a wealthy man, always cared for me, Tom, and of course, our daughter Kate. He was the one who helped us financially for our wedding. He also threw a birthday party and gave presents to Kate every year. So, Tom, Kate, and I immediately went to my childhood home to say goodbye to my father. It seemed the separation from my father was shocking to my mother as well. And amidst my sadness, I thought to support her. After the funeral, Tom quickly said, "I have work," and went back home. I wished Tom could stay with us, but if it was work, there was nothing I could do. I spent a lot of time talking with my mother about my father. A month after my father's death, Tom became increasingly busy every day. He came home later than me, often deep in thought with thick documents in hand. When I asked him, "Did you get assigned a big project?" he replied, "Well, something like that." So, I had no doubts about him. However, unbeknownst to me, he was planning something unthinkable. It was 3 months after my father's death. Just as the pain in my heart started to fade and life began returning to normal, that it happened. Suddenly, on a holiday, my in-laws came to the apartment where Tom, Kate, and I lived. Huh? Tom's mom and dad? Did you say you were coming today? When I was confused, my mother-in-law, unusually cheerful, said, "We have something important to discuss today. If we had told you in advance, you would have gone out with Kate, wouldn't you? This is a discussion that can't happen without you, so we intentionally didn't tell you." No, if it was an important discussion, I would have attended. Apparently, they thought I would run away. Of course, if there was an important discussion, I would attend. Kate would also sit through the discussion without a fuss if she was told it was important. But what could this sudden important discussion be about? Since it concerned the family, Kate was called to the living room. And we surrounded the table with my in-laws. Then, my father-in-law spread out a large piece of paper on the table. I asked an architect I know. "I think it will turn out to be a nice house. My husband and I will have 3 rooms, a room with a fireplace, a bedroom, and a hobby room. There's also a veranda. I'm really looking forward to it. Kate's room will be on the 2nd floor. Tom and Nancy's room will also be on the 2nd floor. And then there's a room for Tom's hobbies." Wait a minute. What are you talking about? I was confused by the paper that looked like a house layout. But I interrupted my mother-in-law's relentless explanation. Annoyed, my mother-in-law frowned. "What do you mean a what?" "It's obvious, isn't it? We're talking about a 2-family house. A multi-generational house for us to live with you." "What? A 2-family house? You mean living together?" There had been little interaction before, and suddenly living together. Moreover, my mother-in-law dislikes me, and both Kate and I are uncomfortable around her. There's no way we could live happily under one roof with such feelings. Kate also grimaced beside me. "You know, Tom is our only son. it's natural for you to live with us and take care of us, isn't it? We thought about you and chose a really nice island kitchen. And a luxurious bath, sparing no expense for the house." I was dumbfounded. However, Catherine continued to talk, paying no attention to my reaction. "I plan to order furniture from the place known for high-end interior items. The land is spacious, and the land cost was a bit high, but it's fine, right? Your father's inheritance is there, after all." Huh? A word that further bewildered me came out, and I involuntarily raised my voice. "My father's inheritance? Are you talking about that?" Catherine spoke confidently. "There's no use trying to hide it. I heard it from Tom. Your father is wealthy, isn't he? He seemed to be hiding it from us, but he kept silent because he has money. He may have thought about not giving us money, but it's futile. I know there's an inheritance of $2 million. I glanced at Tom, and my mother-in-law claimed she had heard it from him. While it's true that I casually mentioned the inheritance to Tom, he should not have been involved in decisions about the inheritance, let alone building a 2-generation house and living together." Perplexed, I asked Tom, "Did you really say that? Are you in favor of living together?" Tom sighed heavily and said, "Of course, why wouldn't I be? Until now, you've been earning well. And I've been helping with meals and household chores. But I've had enough." Tom continued, "From now on, even if you slack off, I don't have to do household chores because Mom is here. Besides, if you have $2 million, half of it should be mine, right? You don't have the right to complain about how I spend it." Wait a minute. I haven't heard anything about living together. As I stood up, Tom glared at me. "I won't entertain any objections. I'm living with my parents. If you oppose it, we'll get a divorce." He seemed to look down on me clearly. It was strange to see him suddenly so confident when he used to be so apologetic. But now is not the time to dwell on that. He was picking a fight with me. "Fine, then. Let's get a divorce." He laughed when he heard my statement. "You're giving up your daughter, $1 million, and a brand new house. What a pitiful person you are." I sighed at his triumphant expression. "I renounced the inheritance, you know?" "Huh? My father told me to. He wanted the inheritance to be used for the sake of poor children. He said that before he passed away, so I discussed it with my mother. I decided to renounce the inheritance. And my mother will inherit the land and house and donate the money to a charity. So, I don't have $2 million. Is that a lie? Furthermore, inheritance doesn't become joint property in a marriage. Even if I had $2 million, not a single cent would go to you." Their faces turned pale rapidly, both him and my in-laws. 3 adults, and none of them had realized this. It's something they could have easily found out. I couldn't help but be amazed. So what are we going to do then? We've already started construction. You can't cancel it now. It's too late for that. I don't know anything about it. I'm not involved in the house matters. Besides, since we're getting divorced, the house you'll be living in has nothing to do with me," I firmly stated, and while Tom looked momentarily stunned, he then directed a smug smile at me after glancing at Kate. "It's the house where our lovely daughter will live. You should contribute money too." He said this proudly. I glanced at Kate with a questioning look. Kate shrugged her shoulders when our eyes met and then said directly to her father, "If Mom and Dad get divorced, I'll live with Mom. I won't live with Dad, Grandma, or Grandpa." Tom had been confident that Kate would want to stay with him, so he was taken aback by her words. Why did he think Kate would choose to be with him? Kate had been told by her grandmother from a young age that girls are no good. She had no reason to want to live with someone who always made such mean remarks. And Kate likely didn't have any expectations of her father. who wouldn't stand up for her against the person making those mean comments. Despite Tom having less work than me, he rarely attended the children's events. Being disliked by Kate probably didn't bother him either. What about the house expenses, child support? He hung his head on the spot. With the intention of acting quickly, I separated from my in-laws and got a divorce application from the municipal court, filing it. If he didn't agree right away, I told him I would hire a lawyer. So Tom agreed to the divorce without any further objections. Originally, the condo was in my name, so after filing the divorce, I quickly packed Tom's belongings. Kate helped me with the packing, while Tom sat in the living room in a daze. Since my in-laws were causing a commotion, I sent them back to their own home earlier. Perhaps Tom's pride couldn't accept the fact that he couldn't afford it, especially since they had asked an acquaintance to handle the construction of the house. Tom and my father-in-law used up all their savings and even sold their own family home. It seemed they decided not to buy the high-end furniture my mother-in-law wanted. Nevertheless, Tom and my father-in-law ended up having to take out loans because they were still short on money. Despite having their dream newly built home, they now had to work tirelessly every day, often taking on side jobs and rarely spending time at home. My mother-in-law, who had been a homemaker, was now working part-time and handling household chores. Kate and I quickly signed a lease for a new residence and moved out. Even without an inheritance, I can support us with my income, and I won't let Kate go without. Kate would say, "I know Mom cares about me, so I'm going to make delicious meals for Mom, who works hard." She always says such heartwarming things. In hindsight, I'm glad we got divorced quickly.